Hello, good evening, and welcome. My name is Modi Apparatus, and today we're checking out Terroir, a winemaking tycoon game. Terroir is currently in early access on Steam and is leaving early access on September 20th, and that is why we're taking a look at it today. This game will put players into a wine estate industry, and we'll be growing our grapes, crushing them, creating wines, getting reviews by critics. We can actually create our own tavern where we can serve wine to customers. We can sell it to traders. All kinds of different stuff. The game usually gets pretty complex from what I saw here. There's a really in-depth tutorial on here too, which basically, obviously explains everything about the game, but there's a lot of reading. The way I've played through this so far here to test it is to start reading just the basic stuff here in the informational panel, basically, and everything. Play a couple rounds, play a couple years of the game, and then come back and read more to understand it better. That'll definitely clear up a whole lot of problems for you. But we're going to get into a brand new game here and check this out, and we'll check this out with an episode. So, let's get into it. I'm going to start... Okay, so the big thing, there's pesticides, pests, rot, and overexposure chances are normal. We could do reduced. We get a 30% penalty to our final score. We get more money to start with easy. Because we're only going to be doing one episode here, I think we'll do easy just so we get some cash flow in here so we can check out more of the game right away. The penalties of the final score don't matter too much. The pesticides, rot, and overexposure chances are decreased, but they'll still happen. So let's get into it here. So we need to make a name for our vineyard. Apparatus Estates. 16 Apparatus Estate. All right, I like it. Apparatus Estate. Sounds good to me. All right, so this is our game board, basically. Reminds me of something like Settlers Catan, but not quite at all that. Hexagons is what I'm thinking of. Octagons? Hexagons. There we go. So the main actions we can take, we can plant, we can buy stuff. We're losing time here because we're just kind of sitting here. It is January 2017. The game, when it plays out, from what I read in the instruction manual and the tutorial here, it actually only takes 4 minutes for a single year. So it doesn't take very long. The idea is do multiple years, and you'll play through the game. The game plays out over 70 years, basically. You get 70 turns at it. So don't get hung up on a single turn at all. Just start doing stuff, mostly. So here we get a look at our chateau. This is our house right here. It looks like our chateau can upgrade and give us more abilities for things, more renown. It costs us renown to do anything, basically, in the game. So we need to do a few years of wine to get renown. And we can get, other upgrades. There's a lot of incremental upgrades you can get to improve your business. So, now that it's January, we can actually plant into the vines here. It's a loam. There's different soil types you'll find in the game. The type of things you can make depend on the type of soil you have. So, in this case, we can plant Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay. Let's plant some Chardonnay grapes in there. So, we have Cabernet or we have Chardonnay. I will plant, these basically have, the difference here is that they have a cost. So Chardonnay is more expensive for planting. Maintenance cost is $150, so it's more expensive per month also. But the wine is a wide spectrum, as it says here. Lot of flavors, zesty to buttery, which gives you different appeal with critics. Here, Cabernet Sauvignon is full body, bold, relatively hardy. This varietal can be crafted in very deep yet elegant red wines without too much intervention. So this is like the easier one of the two. This one is, they have relative hardiness as well. So this is basically the starting grapes for us, the easier grapes to manage in the loam soil here. So we're going to plant some Chardonnay, and we'll let the game roll forward here a little bit. And as I said, the big things here, there's weather to consider. There's so right now it's raining because it's spring. Those are the odds. You get 2 types of weather per month, I believe, or per season. So we're cloudy weather here, and this affects how much your grapes will grow. So we have them just growing on the vine here. It's a little bit here. Now you'll watch this as it increases. Your main action during the year here is to cut back the overgrowth when it happens. We have a worker action here. We can cut down the vines if they get overgrown, and that will change the properties of them. As they increase in ripeness, you want to harvest them when they get to like 5, 6, 7, I think, as far as the range. If they get to 10, they'll be overripe. The very first year here, it's going to be tough to get them to the right place. So right now we already got a suffering from fungal rot. So even though we got an easy mode and it's decreased chance, we still got it. And what happens is it decreases the yield every month. So actually it went away pretty fast here. Now the ripeness is at 3, so that's getting there. We cut the vines in September, I believe. That's when we start making our wine. We're getting pretty good ripeness here right away here. So that shouldn't be too bad. Little crop duster going past here, a little biplane, kind of cool. The main reason I wanted to start at easy mode here, so we get some initial cash here, should help us explore more of the game here quickly, because there's a lot of places we can buy around here. And now we're getting to 5 for ripeness. These should be pretty good as far as the grapes go here. Haven't had to take much intervention yet. It hasn't gotten overgrown. The other tiles here, this is our vineyard, obviously. This is a forest. The forest will, if it has an, it doesn't pop up anymore. I thought there was a pop-up that said that it provides a 10% bonus to the crops it's next to. All right, so let's grab our grapes. They're at 6. It's September. We can grab them. Harvesting, okay. So now we get a report of what our initial grapes are. We got 1.9 tons. Through combination of excellent weather and canopy management, this year's grapes were exceptional. This one gets +1 to the final rating if its rating is above 3.5 stars. So we gotta make sure we don't screw it up, basically, at this point. We got a very good starting wine here for our first year. So acidity 5, sweetness 5, right in the middle. But as we do the grape pressing and all that kind of stuff, it will change these outcomes. So let's go done, and we're gonna start stomping, crushing them. Right now we have only one method available to us. We can do the piège, which will increase tannins by 2, 5 seconds per varietal to complete. So the more varieties we have of grapes, it takes 5 seconds per each one. The big thing is having enough workers to manage all this. So you can't just stay on the crushing here forever. You have to go to something like more mechanical like this eventually. So it takes less time to do. And then the tannins is then changed as well. So this is increases tannins by 2. That'll bring the tannins up to 7. And that's all we have to really worry about. So we're going to get it 7 tannins on that. We'll have to crush the grapes. And this is the only option available because we haven't unlocked Chateau level 2 yet. So let's crush the grapes. An early game here, like I said, this plays out over 70 years. So we're going to have time to change things here. So next we need to press it. No, we ferment it first. Sorry. We do... So this will change things here. It depends on how long we want to ferment it. And you can kind of change how long you want to do based on what kind of stats you have right here. So for instance, every 2 weeks of fermentation decreases sweetness by 1. So if something that's too sweet, you let it ferment longer, and it will decrease the sweetness a little bit, make it a little drier wine. Wine, like all alcoholic drinks, needs to ferment. Your wine's sweetness will change depending on how long you ferment your wine. Perfection is only achieved through trial and error. So if we go 2 weeks, it's going to decrease the sweetness by 1. So it's going to kick it down to 5, which is probably pretty good. Kind of middle of the road. If we take it down, it's going to go 4 to 1 month. And it lets us do up to 2 months, which will take it down by 4 points. So yeah, that'd be quite a lot, wouldn't it? Because that would have to be a pretty sweet wine for us to ferment that long. I think what we'll do is we'll do 2 weeks only. Let it ferment for 2 weeks. That'll bring the sweetness down to 5. We'll have a 5, 5, 7, 6 for now. Let's leave to ferment. The next step after it ferments for a couple weeks here, this is where we'll actually do the pressing. Starting to rain now. Not that weather matters now. So now pressing. So we have to choose how much we want to press it. Every 10% of juice pressed juice, your acidity increases by 1. So we can raise the acidity. Before your wine can be aged, you need to press the must to obtain fermented juices. Use a slider to determine the ratio between pressed and free run juice. Pressed juice means higher acidity. So if we press it by 10%, right now it's at 0%, it's 100% free run juice. So this is going to increase the acidity by 1. So we have an acidity of 6 if we do it by 10%. And I don't think we want to get too much higher. Getting too acidity will probably lower the rating of it. This will be a 6. So we have 6 acidity, 5 sweetness. Tannins is 7, body is 6. Maybe let's go by 1. We'll see how that goes. Just increase it by 1 here. And begin the pressing. All right, pressing in progress. Now we bottle it or age it. And we choose the barrel type. So Aging process decreases acidity by 1, so that's one reason that you want to increase the acidity at the first, because when you go through the aging process and put it into barrels, it's going to actually decrease the acidity as it sits. Decreases acidity by 1 and tannins by 2. So if we do for just a common French oak barrel, it's going to take it down to 5, take tannins down to 5, and then we're going to have a 5, 5, 5, 6. So kind of just like average taste to it. Might not be bad, actually. Average taste, middle of the road taste can sometimes be good. Now, depending on the grapes, depending on the wine, you might want differences in the acidity, or more acidity, more sweetness, depending on what you're going for and what critics might like. Do we have any other options right now anyways? I mean, we can get level 2 barrels at some point later in the road. Increases tannins by 3 for every month you have it stored. Stainless steel vats. There's white oak barrels, which decrease it by 1 and 2. And that's it. So, I mean, really, you're getting 1 or 2, basically. So you got to keep that in mind before the pressing stage, basically, in order to, be prepared for the next stages here. All right, so that is done. We'll get our barrels underneath here, I think, after this. So let's pause quick here, because I think we can see our barrels now. Let's pop this open. Let's take a look at our cellar. So we have 7 barrels of wine. And we can bottle off of that. We have a third combination of excellent weather and canopy management. This year's grapes are exceptional. I think we'll get that bonus too. So what we can do, we can sell the barrels here. I don't think we can just market the barrels on their own. We have to bottle them first. So what we'll do is bottling. We'll bottle off of this. We'll have some cash flow coming in. September 2017. We have 6 barrels. Should we just do most of it here? Our capacity is 750. So maybe we can just age this a little bit. And see how it goes. Now, the acidity will decrease as it ages as well. Something to keep in mind, because it did say tannins and acidity decrease by 1 and 2 per month. So that is something to keep in mind. We might end up with a low acid, a low tannins wine eventually, because if we leave it too long. So let's bottle it now. We'll have the first blend, first bottle here, basically. And give a name for a creation. I'll just call it the Chardonnay 2017. Screw cap is going to be $3 per bottle. We can add on a cork, which gets a little fancier for $5 per bottle. I think this is going to be a well-rated wine, so we're going to get 7 bottles out of that barrel, looks like. Let's do it. So we're bottling off of that then. The bottles will sit, and once they're bottled, they'll no longer decrease in their acidity or tannins, so they'll stay right where they are right now. And the next thing we do before we can actually sell it, we need to find out how good it is, so we know how much to sell it at. So let's organize a tasting. And if the most uppity wine reviewers say it's great, then surely it must be. Invite wine reviewers to a tasting session to obtain a star rating for your wine. Your rating will affect your wine's suggested retail price. So we're just going to bring these low prestige folks is all we have access to until we get more renown. We'll attract better reviewers with more discerning tastes, which provide a bonus. So these guys provide a 1-star bonus, basically, if they give you a good review, basically, is how I would understand it. The better reviewer you get, the more prestige and renown you add to your final thing here. So we got a 5-star wine right off the bat. Fantastic. The wine's delectable, perfect from first sip to final swig. $23 a bottle. Fantastic. El Scorcherito is loving it. Bosch is loving it, and Mayo is loving it too. Fantastic. We got a great bottle of wine, the perfect bottle of wine for our very first outing here. Usually it's not this easy, but we are playing on easy mode, so we did avoid that route there. We will make a fair bit of money off this, I think. Let's sell it. Let's sell it. We can take it over our market now. So these guys can sell 420 bottles. We have 840 bottles available. Because we bottled all of that wine, we probably should have held some back. Well, it's a 5-star wine though, who knows? So these guys could sell 420 barrels a piece. We hold on a few bottles here maybe and just sell 420. The thing is, you only have so many distributors. So you can only, if you use up all these guys right now, we won't have much place to go. So you'll see that there's 3 main distributors we could go through. And if we occupy 2 of them with 420 bottles apiece, that is going to be a lot of wine for them to sell through. Obviously, you can see this makes us a lot of money though. $420, $23 a piece. Or 420 bottles at $23 a piece, that can make us a fair bit of cash. But it takes some time to sell through it. So I'm going to send 420 with them. And then we have Croupe Foods Co. Limited. This is kind of just the end retailer, basically. This is like more high-end distributors that are selling it off. This is going to be kind of your bargain basement. If you want to clear inventory we can just sell through them at any point. They're going to give us only $3.45 per barrel, or per bottle. So we're going to take a big loss on that because we know from before it takes $5 to bottle these things. So let's try that. We can always sell more later to another retailer. Let's just see how, for another distributor. Let's just see how fast it sells through with the one here. And we'll check back on them maybe at the beginning of the year and see how far they've gotten. So sell it off. And this wine, now it's bottled, won't change. So we have a five-star wine sitting in our cellars here. And we got a nice big relationship bonus with them. So let's close that down, We'll advance some time. And we begin the next season here in just a moment. Let's fast forward to the next year here. In the off season right now, there's not a lot we can do. So we're in January here. We'll be planting pretty soon. Once spring rolls around, we'll be planted. Actually, with these, they're already planted, so they'll start growing. From year to year, you keep the same grapes in the same spot. So we'll see if their challenges change at all for that particular wine. If we want to add on another area, we can add on a tile for 50 grand for another type of terrain. There's another loam, so we can add on more Chardonnay or something else. There's loam here. There's sandy here. There is loam here. This is another forest. And we can do a loam here. Reroll is $1,000 only. So our plants are starting to grow here, and as you can see, they're getting a little overgrown because it's been pretty rainy here. They just dialed back a little bit. So our only really action we can take is to shear the vines by that. We can cut them back a little bit and get them to that level there again, which seemed to work pretty well for us. Choosing the right moments to do that at is the big action you have per year. And as I said, it takes about 4 minutes per year here. So you get a little time to think about your actions a little bit. Looks like it's sunny, cloudy. We probably won't get overripe here. Oh, raining though. Look how fast that grows up there. So we're getting a lot of rain with the spring here. It's growing back just a little bit here. With a lot of cloud cover, they won't get as ripe as fast is the thing. So now we're getting way too overgrown. I think it's time to cut back a little bit here. And now it's May. I think we'll cut back one more time here. Now it's cloudy, so we're going to cut back for sure. If it's going to stay sunny, you might want to leave them out there because you don't get them overripe. Now we're at May and we haven't actually increased our ripeness at all, so we have to cut these back pretty frequently, I think, right now, because they're starting to not quite get enough sunlight. And it's been a fairly rainy season, cloudy year. This one's not going to do so well, and we're having fungal rot now because we have a little bit too much rain, I'm guessing. It might just be a random chance to them when this happens. So let's cut that back again here. So the other things we can do in the game here, we can actually add on, let's re-roll this. Let's re-roll this one here. Empty lot. Okay, so add a tile on. What we can do with this empty lot here is construct a building. We can put in a worker's office for $15,000. We can put in a tavern, which sounds really, really cool. Initial cost is very expensive though. The tavern will let us sell wine directly to our customers. So we can have a wine sold here earns you an extra 40% more than the retail price. So our $23 wine can earn a lot more money in our own tavern. The limits are basically based on the renown. Has a monthly maintenance cost of $1,000. So we need to be getting some cash rolling in for this tavern to work for us. Now, $250,000 is going to be a sizable investment at this point in the game. So we can't quite do that just yet, but later down the road we can. Worker's office will let us take more actions per year. So if we add a worker's office, we can research new techniques. And we can use them per year. Maintenance cost is $500, and then we have Castle Ruins. This basically increases our overall renown for our vineyard. People love to have a castle in their background when they go to the tavern. Now this is a bonus for the tavern, not the wine sold to retailers and distributors. We can own 2 Castle Ruins, so we can have 2 castles on our estate because you know what's good was one. And really, people are going to be a little questioning why there's ruins on a new estate like this, but who knows? Where do you get a castle in 2017? I don't know, but it happens, I guess. So it's the remains of a 2017 medieval castle and a symbol of the region's rich past. We're just manufacturing history, basically. So yeah, the taverns get a bonus if you have one of these castle ruins next to it. So you kind of got to plan your plots a little bit here. You can re-roll them like I just did in that one spot there to get a flat ruins or a flat space to build on. But that's main actions: taverns, workers' offices, and castle ruins. Because the only thing we can really do right now is workers' offices, I'm going to build that, and then we can research new things. This one costs $30,000 to research. We don't have enough money for that just yet, but we can treat the vines if they get This Phylrexa. Totally butchered that word, I'm sure. We get the fast harvest, where we can harvest quickly. Basically for 25,000, we can research that. It costs us 5 renown. We only have 1 right now, so we can't really do much early game here. And then we can prepare the soil for the next year. We can get a better yield in the following year if we use this action in the winter. It takes a lot of renown to build this one and 10 months to research it. So it's for the long haul with these with all of this game here, because it's played on a 70-year gameplay. It takes a long time to play through a single thing here. Now our ripeness is not increasing at all. We have not gotten nearly enough sun, so we're gonna have a pretty bad yield this time around. I'm thinking pretty bad taste to it, possibly too. I'm gonna wait and see if we can get these a little more ripe with some sun before we harvest them. Hopefully before it gets frosty out. It's getting a little cold out though. It's October. We're gonna have to harvest it now. So we got acidity 5, sweetness 3, tannins 3, and body 3. We didn't get a whole lot. 1.221 tons. That should be a 6 barrels or so. Let's press them. We don't have any other methods at the moment here. We got to do this again. It increases the tannins by 2, so let's take it up to 5. It's a pretty good spot. I don't think this wine will be quite as good as our 17. 17 was a much better year. And we'll cork this one, and then if we decrease the sweetness by 1 every 2 weeks, it's not going to be good. It's going to be a very dry Chardonnay. We're going to try it though. Maybe people like that. So it's going to have not as much body as before though, so it's going to be not as good a vintage, I'm guessing. But let's let it go for 2 weeks. It'll increase it by 1. We'll down to a 2 for sweetness, so very dry Chardonnay. And we'll see how people feel about that one. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our cellar here. One of the merchants with wine is available to buy from you right now. Let's press it here. And we want to decrease the acidity by 1 for every... Oh, increases the acidity by 1. So it depends on how long we're going to be trying to sell this. I think we just do by... Let's see. So this will decrease it by 2. Let's just do 1 again, because I'll take it down to a 4. It's not going to be as good, I don't think. And choose the barrel. We only have the French oak barrel here. So let's pause quick here now, and we can take a look at our barrels once more here. And we have even more than before. We have the Chardonnay barrels. We have 7 of them. This is all the barrels we have. We already turned all those in. The acidity will decrease as we let it sit, and the tannins will decrease as well. So we can let this sit for a little while here. How's our bottles selling here right now? How's the market look? It looks like they sold all of that wine in the year here. So we could give them another round here of the good stuff. Well, let's take a look here quick and see how the bottling of this is going to go. Let's bottle a little bit here. We might have to discard some of it here. We have some money coming in from the previous one. Let's just do a couple of bottles from this. Let's do 3 of the barrels and see how it's going to go here. And maybe we can let it sit longer, see if it's going to improve at all. So let's do a taste test of this one here. And organized tasting. Let's see what they think. I don't think this one's going to go as well for us. Invite tasting. It's a 2-star wine. All right, $14, $20. So not great. White wine's supposed to taste like paint thinner? If yes, I guess this wine does a great job. Damn, harsh words. They spare nothing here for us. Okay, so we could sell this, but it will not really help our renown. I think what we're gonna do is try to sell our other one here instead. Maybe discard this year's vintage. Let's discard it here. How many bottles to discard? 360. I don't think it's gonna improve over time. We could just bottle it here. Let's just wait a month and see if we can bottle it again and see what happens after letting it age a little bit. And then we're going to sell the rest of this off right now. We can sell 252. Some of it looks like it's aged out. Oh, they have some they're still selling through right now. But we have 168 available. We can sell through those pretty quickly, I think. Actually, they only sold through about half of what they had. This guy is going to get a better price per bottle, though. So because we have the distributor relationship, we're actually getting a better than our market price right now. And people are starting to hear about the vintage because it actually went up to $46 just from people we aren't even having a relationship with. So that's kind of cool. So let's sell another 150 bottles to them for the season here. And we'll save 270 for next season, maybe, if we have a bad time. So waiting to sell 150 bottles. And then we'll go back and we'll take a look and see. They have to sell through 150 bottles. We can't increase that right now. So, they don't have any more room to sell through those, so we'll let them go. We're up to 28 with them now, though. Once they sell through those, we're gonna get even more money per bottle. So that's awesome. We'll let this go for a month or and see what happens. There we go. Let's speed through it again for a little bit here. Let it age to the spring, and maybe we'll put a different name on that Chardonnay so people don't know it's us that did it, and maybe we'll have a better year this time around. The ripeness just did not happen last year. All right, so now we're into January. Let's take a look at our cellar again here. Sweet acidity went down. I can't believe it's not butter. Buttery flavor grants 10% to your wine's price. Well, that helps a little bit. It's aged a couple months now, so it might be a little bit better. The tannis, actually, I think we've made a better, more balanced thing here. Acidity went down, tannis went down. It might be better to bottle it now. And we actually get an extra bonus here. We're just going to call this, not the Operanas Estates Chardonnay. We're going to call it Uncle Modi's Chardonnay 2018, because this is not the same brand at all. We don't want this one to be associated with us necessarily. So Uncle Modi's Chardonnay 2018, bottle it, and then we'll take a look at a tasting on that one and see what people think of it. Organized tasting, and we'll give a little look at that one here. Wine is meant to be a good introduction to enology for beginners. Instead, this wine might scare people back to drinking pale ale. So we're getting worse for this one. Okay, so Uncle Modi's Chardonnay is not doing well, as we suspected. All right, let's discard that. I don't think. Well, no, we're gonna send it to a distributor over here and say, you know what, guys, you just take it off our hands. They're gonna pay us $1.35 for it. Better than discarding it. They can take $480. Enjoy. Sell it. Get rid of it. Move it out of here. Uncle Modi's Chardonnay is not the hot seller. How's this one going though? They sold it for a couple minutes. They sold about 20 bottles or so, and the price per bottle now is 23. No, that's not right. That's the wrong one. They have 189 left, so they sold about 50 roughly. Again, we can sell. We can't sell to them because they're still selling through those. Oh, can we sell through them? We get 28 now, so let's do another. Let's boost this up a little bit. See if we can raise their price a little bit. Let's do another 60 bottles with them. And they're still selling through those. We got the increased relations again. We can actually get a worker action here too, looks like. As long as your distributed relations are at 5, all worker actions except for clear forest and plant forest are free. Nice. Okay, so that's nice. We have a nice little relationship going on right there. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Terroir. We're just going to take a quick look at this because it is coming out on September 20th. And the developer was kind of send me a key so I could check it out for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be back for something else next time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.